AEW All In Texas this Saturday. Usually it is held in London, England, or somewhere in England. I'm sure it's London. So this is the first time it's been held in Texas. I believe this is the third one, either the third or the fourth. This has been my first time watching the full entire show. So what I'm going to do is give you my match predictions. There are 8 as far as I'm aware. I'll be as brutally honest as I physically can. I'm not a massive... No, let me reword that. I'm more of a WWE fan, but I'm really, really loving AEW at the minute and wanting to love it even more. So we'll see where we can get to with these. Might potentially be a 9th match unless I'm being a complete idiot, because I'm pretty sure Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta challenged for the trios titles, but who's the third man though, because isn't Pacquiao injured? So maybe that's on a different show. So we'll only talk about the ones where they've actually been announced, because there is another episode of Dynamite to happen, so potentially there could be another match added to it. Let's talk about the TNT Championship. Adam Cole, baby, versus Kyle Fletcher. Now, Kyle Fletcher defeated Daniel Garcia to earn a number 1 contenders match. So, I've got literally no reason behind it, but I don't remember the last time Kyle Fletcher actually held a title. It may be soon. But I can see Kyle Fletcher winning this one, because at the very first All In, I believe Kyle Fletcher lost his Ring of Honor Tag Team title to Adam Cole. So, why not better than a full circle moment and have Kyle Fletcher win this and go back to the Don Callis family as a champion? It's a very short build, I think, as far as I'm aware, because he pretty much just said, I want a title match. Daniel Garcia said, I want a title match. And then Adam Cole was like, I'll face both of you. And there was like, no. And then they had a contenders match and then 1-1. And then here we are. Yeah. So I'm actually going to go for Kyle Fletcher. Is it stupid? Probably. But it's a 50-50 chance. So yeah. Let's talk about the 3-way match. The Hurt Syndicate versus, I can never pronounce this. Is it the Patriarchy? If that's wrong, I do apologise. Of Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. I think that's right. Okay. Versus Jet Speed of Kevin Knight and Mike Speedball Bailey. Right. Okay. I don't see Speedball and Kevin Knight winning this, so Jet Speed, I don't see them winning this. But I do see the Patriarchy actually winning this for 2 reasons. One, the Hurt Syndicate can lose the tag team titles without even being pinned. That's usually what they do to a dominant team if they want to take the titles off them. Okay. Also as well, you can have Christian Cage basically saying like, I won these titles, I deserve both these titles. And you know how Christian basically is, being his father. And it would be the first father and son, don't ask, AEW World Tag Team Champions. So my prediction is the Patriarchy. Now let's talk about the men's Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal, where the winner has a future shot at the AEW World Champion. As far as I'm aware, the only participants that we know of are the number 1 entrant of Mark Briscoe, the number 2 entrant of MJF, and is it Mystico? I can see MJF winning this. What better than to have the Hurt Syndicate lose the tag team titles, okay, so Bobby's already pissed off, okay, than to have MJF thinking that the Hurt Syndicate is actually going to help him win AEW's top prize. Like, to me, the story writes itself. Now, maybe you can do it with other people or whatever it is, but MJF seems like the perfect person, probably snobby person, to win the contract. If it's the same as last year, I believe, when Christian won it, maybe they've changed it. But, there's a lot of pointing. I'm going to go for MJF. Right. Now, quickly, let's talk about the women's Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal. Right. Okay, originally, in my mind, I thought, who's even in this? I'm still trying to remember everyone's names. And the first person that popped into my head was Jamie Hayter. And I thought, maybe not, because he's not actually in England. I was like, who's from Texas? I have no idea. I need to learn this. I probably should have revised it, or researched it, or re-looked it up. It's the same word. But for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to go for Megan Vane. Powerful, strong. Is she even in the match? I don't know. But just literally pulling, like, you know, a golden ticket out of a chocolate bar. Yeah, so I'm going to go for Megan Vane to win that one. Then we go on to another tag team match. So I'm trying to fire through these so it's not too boring. With Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland taking on the Young Bucks of Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. Now, if Matthew and Nicholas Jackson lose this, they also lose their EVP titles. I believe that's right, because I get confused with MVP. But if Will and Swerve lose this, they cannot challenge for the title for a year. Okay. Right. If Matthew and Nicholas actually lose, what's that mean, seriously? Like, it's not like Will and Swerve can go and put them into certain matches. They just become wrestlers, which they already are. But I can see Swerve and Will basically losing. Swerve blaming Will the fact that he can't challenge for the world title. Okay, people are taking the mick out of them. Obviously, what's the word I'm looking for? Teasing them, if that sort of thing, saying like, you can't challenge for this, ha 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 ha, all this other stuff. To me, that makes more sense for Swerve and Will to actually lose. No, I'd love them to win, don't get me wrong. Will Ospreay is my favourite AEW wrestler. But, to me, I've got to think outside the box here. So, I'm going to go for the Young Bucks to win this. And basically, it turns into like, maybe not a feud. But, the thing is though, it could go both ways, considering, does Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland help Hangman Adam Page to win the world title later on the show? So, if it's like, okay, if I can't challenge for the title, I want somebody else who can to take it off him. To me, that sort of makes sense, but also doesn't as well. So that's where I'm a bit on the fence of what do I say, what do I do. But in my mind, I'm going to go for the Young Bucks, so I'm sticking with the Young Bucks. Now let's talk about the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm taking on Mercedes Moné. Now, Mercedes Moné seems to have won basically everything. I don't think she's actually lost a match on AEW television or Dynamite, Collision, anything like that. They might be wrong. But I don't see her actually winning this. I can see Toni Storm standing tall, defeating the so-called undefeated, unbeatable Mercedes Moné. But then why would you get her all the way to there to basically defeat her? That's why. So basically it feels like she's a massive threat. But this one I'm not too sure on. But I think I'm going to go for, yeah, Toni Storm. Okay, Toni Storm is absolutely fantastic. Crushing it. Great. Mercedes Moné doesn't actually need the world title. But yeah, I think I'm actually going to go for Toni Storm. If I was actually a betting man and I was allowed to change the result of one match, this would probably be it. But yeah, AEW's biggest show. Give it to Timeless Toni Storm. Then we've got a winner-take-all match for the Intercontinental, no we haven't, for the Continental Championship and the International Championship. Your Continental Champion is Kazuchika Okada. I apologise if I butcher that name, but I never say it, so I thought I'd give it a chance. Versus Kenny Omega, who is your International Champion. Now, Kenny Omega being the belt collector. Okay, that's fine, but I really don't see it. I can see Okada actually winning both of the titles. I think he's brilliant. I think he's fantastic. I think it makes a lot more sense. If he's actually in the Don Callis family as well, you're going to have Kyle Fletcher, okay, with a title, the TNT title, and then you can have Okada with both the International and the Continental Championships. Okay, I feel like Kenny Omega only won the International Championship to drop it to Okada at this point. Now, this might be stupid, but yeah, okay, it's difficult, but I'm going to go for Okada. I think sort of what I want and sort of what I think is going to happen. Now let's talk about the main event, I assume. In a Texas death match, Hangman Adam Page challenging Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Let's cut the video short here. Hangman's going to win this. If he doesn't, it's stupid. I can see obviously the Death Rods getting involved, you know, basically everyone. But then Hangman's going to have some backup as well. That's what I'm saying to you. I think it's going to be a great, brutal match. But if Hangman doesn't win this, where does it go, seriously? Like, who's next? We're going to have like a returning Bryan Danielson for whatever reason, because, you know, they can. But, yeah, there's not really much to say, really. I can just see a lot of people getting involved, because obviously it's a Texas death match, which obviously I'm assuming means no DQ. If you get disqualified, that's really stupid. Those basically are my predictions. If you think I'm stupid, let me know. If you think I'm good at this, let me know. I suppose you won't know until I actually do it. If you agree, a lot of let me knows. So, agree, disagree, let me know down in the comments, okay, about these videos, all this other good stuff, what you don't like, what you do like, so I can learn. Fantastic. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.